Well, hello again. And to be honest, I can't wait to say goodbye to this place. Summertime in Newcastle, eh? Let's go to America. Well, that didn't take long, did it? 25 seconds later, and here we are in the United States. Yeah, I wish it was that easy. I'll fill you in a minute on how I spent my journey over here from Newcastle, including what felt like chucking a hand grenade into Twitter, and I'll explain why in just a moment. But no, here we are, and welcome to the sunny streets of Philadelphia. It's a damn sight more pleasant than that weather I left behind in Newcastle. Now, as is custom, when you're in this city, you've got to go up to the Rocky Steps, and that's where I'm going to take you. But if I'm being honest, as a kid, it wasn't something I was massively into. As I said to one of the guys last night, if we were in Chicago, I'd be the first one to pay up to go and see the house where Kevin McAllister lived and do the Home Alone tour. But yeah, Rocky was never really for me. But nonetheless, let's go and see the steps. Let's have a little bit of a wander, a bit of a catch up, and bring you the latest on Newcastle, and hopefully see Eddie Howe later too. Okay, well, here we are on the corner of Benjamin Franklin Parkway, and we're just going to take a wander through a lovely little tree-lined avenue here. It's like being back in Gosforth, and this leads to those steps, which I'm not particularly bothered about, but everyone else is, so let's go and have a look nonetheless. And yeah, we'll just have a little chat about how I spent my journey over here. So bear in mind it was a 7-hour flight. I thought I'd pen something on the outgoing Alan St. Maximin and the incoming Harvey Barnes, and part opinion, part knowledge which I've acquired over the last 18 months of Alan St. Maximin playing under Eddie Howe. And I led the piece, and I'll link it in the description below and put it on screen now. I led the piece by saying Alan St. Maximin is a good player for a bad manager and a bad player for a good manager. When the system fails, he's the override, but when the system works, he's too often there for the ride, and that's something I've always believed, and I've said many times now. And it really did split opinion. This one, like I said, it was like chucking a hand grenade into Twitter. The responses I got, and sadly I paid for the Wi-Fi on the flight as well, so I was subject to all of it, and it was pretty much split straight down the middle, really, which is probably what you get with a player like St. Maximin. I think that's actually very, very instructive, and the responses were quite extreme. It was 100% agree, or on the other side of the coin, and just to paraphrase, you weapon. Now, I've always liked you weapon as a put down. It does the job. I don't mind it at all. You get your point across without being necessarily rude. So yeah, and one former Newcastle player actually who read the article sent me a message, and I wish I'd used this line myself, but they said some managers need a player like Alan St. Maximin, and Eddie Howe doesn't. And I just thought that for me really, really captured the essence of it. Eddie Howe is about 11 players making the team worth 12 almost, and a player like St. Max, as brilliant as he's been to watch, and as much as I've loved covering him, and he's given us great copy, and you've got to state, you've got to put it on record that without him the team might have been relegated under Steve Bruce. He really was, as his nickname on the inside, plan A. For me, he was plan B and plan C as well, really, but that's another matter. So you've got to give him credit for that. But I just think the journey the club is going in now, I think Harvey Barnes from St. Maximin is a huge upgrade. We'll be speaking to Eddie later on. The latest info we have is that St. Maximin has passed his medical with the Saudi Arabian club Al Ahly, and that should all be wrapped up really in the next 48 hours. So Eddie will be telling us later whether Harvey Barnes is set to join the team out here in the States. Now, a little bit of other transfer news. Just two players I'm going to quickly touch on. Carl Darlow. Now, we thought Carl Darlow was definitely off the Bournemouth. It appears Leeds, well, it doesn't appear, I know that Leeds have emerged as a rival for his signature. It looks almost certainly like he is going to go. Whether it's Bournemouth or Leeds, we'll have to wait and see on that front. And the other one, Tino Livramento from Southampton. Now, I saw reports emerge on the way over here. Actually, I was getting a few messages saying that there were claims that the deal was done, all agreed, a fee of £30 million. Now, that wasn't my information, I must admit. All I had back was, Newcastle are working on the deal. So, and that hasn't really changed since then. So we'll probably know more on that as the day goes on. Interestingly, Livramento, of course, did play for Southampton last night in a friendly at Reading. So yeah, we're bringing you more on that as and when we get it. So for now, let's go and see those steps. Right, so here we are at the bottom of the steps, and I've had an idea. I don't think anyone's ever done this before. No one's actually ever ran up the steps like Rocky did, recreating that scene. So yeah, let's do it. This is really unique content, guys. I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. That was good, wasn't it? A bit cliched. Now, over the course of the next few days, I'll try and bring you a little bit of a flavour of the 3 or 4 cities I'll be visiting here in the United States. I've had about 24 hours in Philadelphia so far, and I have to say, it's very nice, very American. Almost feels like the version of America the country would like to present of itself. You know, lots of nice red bricks down below and big shiny skyscrapers up above. Plenty of museums, lots of green spaces. It's very clean too. Yeah, and Liberty Bell, of course, is one of the famous attractions here, a symbol of American independence. And you can't get any more American, can you, than July the 4th and Rocky Balboa. So it's a like from me so far for Philadelphia. And we're just going to take a little bit of a wander down now to City Hall, which is very pretty too. So enjoy. Well, welcome to the Lincoln Financial Field. What a place this is to watch football, by the way. Absolutely stunning stadium. You know, we see these mass bowls be thrown up in England, don't we? And it's almost like they've come from the same IKEA set, the same sort of Meccano set. I think I've spoken about this before. Well, here the Americans really do have a way of making the stadiums unique. I was here, I've just watched Chelsea 4, Brighton 3, an absolute cracker. By the way, if that's what the Premier League's got in store this season, let's have more of it. But for the purposes of this video, I did say I'd bring you a little update from Eddie Howe's press conference. He was here at the stadium before the game, and newsy items to emerge from it. Well, a little update on the incoming Harvey Barnes. Now, I know Eddie's comments will probably cause a little bit of unrest among some supporters. You know, he was a little bit evasive, but I think that's just because it isn't really rubber stamped yet. Don't worry, Newcastle supporters, that deal will happen for £38 million. And Eddie did commit as much to. He says, you know, he hopes Harvey Barnes will be able to join them here next week and perhaps make his debut in the Premier League Summer Series. The reason that one hasn't gone through is almost certainly because we're still waiting for Alan Saint-Maximin's move to be signed off going out to Saudi Arabia. So, as we said, you know, the financial constraints have made it a case of 1 out, 1 in for Newcastle. Now, one of the talking points from the press conference as well was the idea that could the deal for St Max, which we believe to be worth around £30 million, could that be inflated because Newcastle are owned by the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund, and so too are Al Ahly, where St Max is going. So several Premier League clubs were led to believe will voice concern that, as I said, you know, that deal the field could be inflated by means of a way for Newcastle to navigate FFP. Now, for being honest, I think £30 million for Alan Saint-Maximin does represent fair market value, and Eddie Howe said as much there himself tonight, and he answered questions on that, and he said that the deal would be above board from a Premier League rules perspective, and I fully expect that to be the case. So yeah, I'll put the links to those stories in the description below there. So plenty more to come, guys. This is my first update, my first little dispatch from Philadelphia. What a city, what a stadium as well. You know, they're going to be hosting 2026 World Cup matches here, and what an occasion that promises to be. I've really been taken with the city, and this is a venue. I'll be back here tomorrow night. That's for Newcastle versus Aston Villa, when I'll be bringing you guys yet another video, more news, more reaction. Thank you for staying tuned to this first little video diary. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, and yeah, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you again in 24 hours time. Take care, guys. Bye bye.